So, just had a talent agency get back to me. That's what I was pausing the stream to do really quick, was to answer them back and thank them for getting back in touch with me. So my previous occupation before game dev and streaming and content creation was working as an influencer in the travel industry for about, I mean, it was about 8 years, 10 if you want to count all my time as a writer. But then as a public speaker and everything else that we were doing, um, working around the world with all the tourism boards that we worked with and so on and so forth. There's a lot of, there's a lot of hard work that goes into pitching and getting the deals that get you paid, essentially. So you can make money. Back in the day, I used to make money on I had a blog. I made money on the blog and advertising on the blog, and then I made money with my book sales and all my public speaking gigs and consultations and all the assignments we would get when we would go on location. And we were in Spain for 3 months. We were in Ireland for a month, doing a bunch of stuff here in Mexico with TripAdvisor and Oyster. And so you go and do photography shoots and videography shoots, and you get paid to write blog posts and all that stuff. Back in the day, Instagram posts, things of that nature. But in order to get the sponsorship deals, you have to pitch. And so you're constantly pitching. And a good thing about being in the public speaking arena is that you don't have to pitch as much once you get to the level where you're being invited to go speak at the conferences, because by the very nature of you being a speaker at a conference where there's 1,500 people in attendance, the sponsors are automatically looking at you going, oh, you're somebody important, we want to work with you. So that was nice when I broke that barrier and started getting invited. We were doing 3 or 4 conferences a year and getting lots of work because of that. Now, in the content creation space in the gaming industry, I am not at that level yet, but I have been at that level in the past in a different industry. So I know how it works and what it takes to get there. I made a conscious decision with what I'm doing on YouTube and Twitch that I have no desire to do the pitching this time around. I want to work with an agency. I'm more than happy to give somebody 15% of the cut to just go do all that shit for me. Now, I'm still relatively small if you look at the grand scheme of things. I'm not quite at 28,000 on YouTube, and I'm getting close to 700 followers on Twitch. But, everything in terms of numbers, what most agencies are looking for is they kind of want you to have like a minimum of 50,000 on YouTube, and which is fine. But I started pitching this year, and so I've been actively fielding conversations from talent agencies, because I'm not pitching to get sponsors right now. What I'm pitching is I'm pitching agencies to see if I can find an agent who wants to represent me. It's a very interesting song and dance, because I've been out of that space for about, I think the last contract that Chris and I did with the travel brand was 2017, and that's when we retired our travel blog and I moved into full-time game dev, and then I moved into what I'm doing right now. I started doing this, I'm in my 3rd year right now, so I've been full-time since February of 2022? 2024? Yeah, so I'm in my 3rd year of full-time right now. Now, I make a full-time living off of YouTube and Twitch, and if you're a member of YouTube, I do income reports, and actually I'm due to do, it's been about 6 or 7 days since I've done a YouTube video, a member video for a YouTube member, so I'm getting ready to do an update on, because March was a pretty good month for YouTube, so we're going to talk about the income and the traffic and everything else. But I don't have huge numbers, so I'm not pulling Co-Carnage numbers or Dr. Disrespect numbers. And most of the time, the agencies want to see you having X amount of traffic. What's very interesting, I'm not going to name who the agency is right now, but one of the agencies just got back to me very politely, and I'm happy that they did, because what I've been seeing is a trend. I haven't found an agency yet that's willing to work with you until you're hitting at least 35,000 views on average for every YouTube video that you produce, and I'm nowhere near that. But it's good to know where the benchmarks are. 50,000 followers, and they usually want to see you having 100 to 150 concurrent viewers and 35 to 50,000 views per video that you release on YouTube. I'm nowhere near that. I think on a good month, it just depends on what we're seeing. But I think just depending on the month, I'm doing Just depends on the month. But YouTube is between 350 and 400,000 views a month. And then I'm doing about the same on TikTok, about 350 to 400,000 a month on TikTok, with a lot less followers. This is the trippy thing. So I have close to 28,000 followers on YouTube. Now my TikTok's not monetized, but it works as a marketing tool to push towards everything else. I don't even have 1,000 followers on TikTok. I'm like at 950 followers, but I'm averaging 350,000 a month in terms of views on TikTok. And then Twitch is just, by the way, I am said hi on YouTube. What's up? Or Twitch, you said hi on Twitch, sorry. Twitch is still growing, so Twitch is just depends. I mean, I think my videos on Twitch usually only get, it just depends on what we're streaming. Some things only get like 50 views, other things get like 150 views, just depends on the game. But I don't have a lot of followers on Twitch. I'm up to like 650, something like that on Twitch. But a little bit of insight into numbers and streaming and sponsorships and all the things, and agencies for those of you who might want to know that kind of stuff. I do get sponsorships. I got when Baldur's Gate 3 blew my channel up last year. I started getting pretty regular offers for like general sponsorships, which is like, hey, we'll give you a game key or a little bit of money to do this thing. And that's cool. I don't really do a lot of that because I don't need to. There have been some games like Robin Hood Sherwood Builders. That was cool. I just recently joined the Funcom creator program because I'm going to be doing Dune Awakening I'm going to be doing a lot of Dune Awakening for them. And they've got some stuff going on with Conan Exiles that I might do. So, there's growth all around, but yeah, I don't want to do pitching anymore in terms of getting the sponsors. I just want to find an agency who does all that stuff for me. But it's been interesting because I don't think I'm there yet. Despite the fact that I make a full-time income, I'm not big enough for any of the agencies that I've talked to yet. But at the very least, I'm having conversations and seeing what the minimum benchmark numbers are for people who want to work with content creators and streamers. It takes a lot of work to get to that level. I'm a little over 2 years. I'm in my third year of full-time content creation. So February was the start of the third year. So I'm like 25 or 26 months, whatever we are now, into it. So I'm very interested to see where we're going to be by the end of this year. The growth is pretty steady on YouTube. I can kind of calculate where I'm going to be by the end of the year, which is going to be very interesting. Twitch, I have no idea because I just started really doing Twitch in October. And we're starting to focus more and more on Twitch right now. Anyway, a little bit of a conversation for those of you who want to know that kind of stuff. I realize that might be kind of boring. A boring pause for some folks. But I had to stop and answer that email, so I thought I would give some context. Just thanking them for reaching out. It's always good to maintain an open line of communication, and but not every agency is at the same tier. So right now I'm just trying to see if I can't find an agent. It's no different than when you're doing publishing with book deals and stuff. You got to pitch an agent, and that could take 6 months, just depending, 6 months to a year to find an agent. But once you get a good agent, ideally you'll find someone that you work with for the next 20 years of your career, and they grow with you. So it's just a pitching process. If you've never done pitching before, like I spent 2 years pitching for funding with Stormhaven Studios on the Saga of Lucimia MMORPG when I was the CEO and creative director. I spent 7.5 years on that project, and 2 of those years was just pitching with a couple of other people on the teams from time to time, but we were just pitching to investors, pitching, and we raised a lot of money that way. But it's just a crapshoot. You're literally, the objective with pitching is to learn how to hear rejection. You hear 100 people will tell you no, but all you're looking for is the one that says yes. So you never take it. It's no different than being an actor and going to do all of your why am I blanking on the word for you're going in and doing the screen test and You're being told that you're not the right person. Casting, that's what it is. You're trying to get cast in a role, and so you have to go do the open casting calls, and you're going in a room with 75 other people because you fit the certain look and feel, but you don't know if you're going to get the part. So you just learn to deal with the rejection of you're not the right fit, but thanks anyway, and you move on about your day. All you're looking for is the one. So I am says I appreciate the transparency. I find content creation super interesting. It's awesome that you share this stuff. I've often thought it would be a good thing to get into myself. I mean, it's I enjoy it. I enjoy my job, but I also do it a lot different than a lot of other people. A lot of people start streaming and then get into content creation, and I started as a content creator on YouTube before I ever worried about streaming. Streaming has only become a priority for me in 2024. I have streamed regularly since I started doing this, but it was never a priority for me to be streaming X amount of hours per day until 2024, just because there's so many growth opportunities with streaming that you'd be stupid not to focus on it more. But I do make my bread and butter off of the ad revenue on YouTube. So thank you so much for the super chat earlier, Rebel, and all the members on YouTube and all the people who are subscribers, who are paying subscribers over on Twitch, because all that adds up. But when I do the updated video, I think we'll record it tomorrow for YouTube. I took a look the other day, and I think the number has gone up, which is cool. Late last year, we were about 10% of my monthly revenue comes from memberships, super chats, and bits and cheers and things of that nature. But like 90% was coming from YouTube ad revenue. Now, as of March, I was looking at the numbers, and I think we're closer to like 80. It's higher now. It's like 17 or 18% is memberships and super chats and bits, cheers, and subs, as opposed to and only like 82 or 83%. And I haven't factored in the Patreon yet, or the all the Twitch subs and bits and cheers and stuff. So it might be closer to 80%. So I think the memberships and support from the viewers, you guys who are tuning in, that support has gone up by 10% in the last 3 months. So in the first quarter of 2024, streaming 4 to 6 hours a day has shifted that revenue demographic slightly to where I'm now making about 10% more revenue from memberships and bits, cheers, and super chats and super thanks. So it's a very fluid thing. And then I produce a lot. Like I do at least 7-8 videos a day on YouTube, and I'm trying to do 3 YouTube shorts and 3 TikToks per day right now. I don't always have the time to do that, but I do try to do at least 2, if not 3. But I'm working in blocks too, so like today I woke up at 2:30 in the morning, and I worked from 2:30 until about 9:30 in the morning, including a 2.5-hour stream of Ghost of Tsushima this morning, and then I went and ate breakfast and slept. Woke up at like 11:30, had lunch, took a shower, did some more video production on top of what I already did this morning, and then I came back and started this stream. And then when I wrap up here, I'll go produce one more YouTube short and TikTok short, and probably one more video for tomorrow morning, and then that'll be a wrap for the day. I think actually I don't know if my brother's playing World of Warcraft tonight with my nephew, because I usually play with them in about an hour and a half, and then I'll record that session for whenever. So lots of fun stuff going on. A little bit of insight for those of you who want to know.